In the beginning of the drama, we see our female lead, whose name is Shen, who has been in the special forces. That's why she is very disciplined and strong. She wakes up every morning and does 100 push-ups. Whenever crime happens somewhere, she reaches there and helps people and always supports the truth. Currently, she is a martial arts instructor, and her father is looking for a girl for him to marry because he himself is a retired officer. On the other side, if we talk about our male lead of the drama, whose name is Lee, who has just become the chairman of Runchi Group of Companies. He is handsome, but arrogant. He does not tolerate even a little negligence in matters of work. If someone makes any mistake, he directly fires him. He gets so busy that he doesn't have time to eat, so he keeps drinking coffee all the time in the office. Seeing this, one of his assistants says, "You should eat something, or else your health will deteriorate, or you will have to be admitted to the hospital." Hearing this, he starts saying, "Did you really think that I have to be admitted to the hospital? It is impossible." But as he moves forward, he sprains his leg and has to be admitted to the hospital. As soon as his friend Ling comes to know about this, he immediately reaches the hospital. As soon as he comes, he puts his hand forcefully on his leg. After this, Lee is fed up with his nonsense talks. Then the doctor tells Lee that his injury is not too big, but he has to take care of his health. He has to eat and drink on time. He has to do regular exercise, and he has to get the habit of sleeping early at night. Otherwise, his health will deteriorate further. After prescribing some medicine, he discharges him. Then his assistant goes to bring medicine for him, and Ling makes him angry with his talks. So Lee asks him to bring a juice for him. He was getting angry. Then, as soon as he was going towards his car, he sees a man trying to open the door of his car. Lee is not able to stop him, so the man starts pushing him and taking out some documents and runs away. Then Lee somehow catches him and is about to beat him. Just then our heroine comes from the front and asks him to stop. Taking advantage of this opportunity, that man leaves from there. Then Shin comes and she twists Lee's hand and throws him on the ground because she thought he was the partner of the thief and starts asking him, how dare he steal in broad daylight? Lee starts saying, "I am not a thief. It was the thief who stole my bag." But she also does not believe him. Then Lee shows his ID card to her. After this, she believes it, and she says sorry to him. Then, to bring back his bag, she goes after the thief with his car, and also calls the police and tells them about her location. Finally, she overtakes the thief with a car. Seeing her, the thief tries to run away, but she defeats him with her martial arts skills, and she ties him with his bike. After that, Lee gets out of the car, and he sits on his knees because his injury had worsened a lot. Then she goes to help him, but he refuses, saying, "I will do it." But he is not able to get up and falls down. Then she helps him in getting up, and then, looking at the watch, she remembers that she is late for her class. She quickly writes her name and number on a piece of paper and says, "If you ever need my help in the future, then call me." Then she quickly leaves. But Lee scolds her from behind and says, "I don't need your help. I don't even want to see your face again." Lee also throws that paper, but his assistant picks it up. Next, we see the scene of the martial arts school, where a parent is complaining because their son got hurt because of Shin's martial art technique. So the boss there, Mr. Shin, somehow tries to convince them and says, "Sorry." Seeing all this, she stops in intention and hides behind a cutout, but Mr. Shin catches her and then he starts scolding her. She starts apologizing to him and says, "I will change and improve my teaching skills." But Mr. Shin says, "There is no need for this because you do your work too well." Then she says, "I am not able to understand what you want to say." He says, "Do you remember why you were fired from your previous job?" Then, through a flashback, we're shown Shin's old jobs, where she used to work in a shopping mall, where she used to leave her work and go to help the police in investigation, and used to help them solve their cases. Because of this, she had been fired. Her second job was in a restaurant. There also, she was fired from the job because of her fighting. Coming back to the present this time, Mr. Shin says, "You have taught techniques to the children here. One of the girls from your class broke the hand of another child from your class while playing with him. Do you even know how much loss our school can suffer?" Then she starts apologizing to him and starts telling emotional things about her dad. But Mr. Shin gives her this month's salary and fires her from the job. He really is admitted to the hospital for a few days because his injury had increased a bit. So the doctor tells him, "I had told you a while ago that you have to be careful and take care of yourself. So now see for how many days you will have to be admitted." Then Lee asks the doctor, "When can I get well?" On which the doctor tells him that he has to rest for 7 days and he will have to stay in the hospital for observation for a minimum of 2 days. Lee refuses to do this because there is a lot of work in his office. The doctor says, "You have to stay here for 2 days. Otherwise, your condition can get worse." He really considers the girl responsible for his condition and starts cursing her. Now the person who had stolen the document gets the CCTV footage and makes this clip viral because he wanted to see Lee being made fun of in front of everyone, And this happens. When Lee is discharged, that video had gone viral in many places. All the staff of the office were enjoying this video. This makes Lee very embarrassed. He asks the assistant, "Who have seen this video in my office?" On which she lies that only 2 or 4 security guards and 1 or 2 trial employees and some cleaning staff. But all the staff had seen this video and had a lot of fun watching it. So here, Ling gives an idea to solve this problem, which was that if those people prove that it was just a practice or a martial art ad, in this way, they can solve this problem. On which Lee agrees and asks his assistant to call that girl to the office. On the other side, Shin comes home where her father is cooking food. Here, it is revealed that one of Shin's father's hands is fake. Seeing this, Shin gets sad. Then, in a flashback, we see that when both Shin and her dad are in the army, and Shin was the team leader and was sent on a rescue mission with her team to save some people. She saved the lives of all the people with full bravery and killed all the enemies. And at the same place, Shin's dad had to lose his hand to save Shin from the bomb blast. And that is why now Shin is collecting money by doing many part-time jobs. She is doing this to buy a prosthetic arm for her dad. Now she has sent her resume to many companies, but she did not get any reply from any company, which is why she is worried. Now she has only 18,000 yuan in her bank account, whereas she needed 120,000 yuan to buy the arm. Here, she blames Lee because of him she was fired from the job. Then she gets a call from Lee's company, and the assistant tells her that Mr. Lee wants to meet you. Here, we come to know that Ling has been sent by Lee's father, so that he somehow agrees Lee for marriage, because all the blinds arranged by Lee's father have been rejected by him on some pretext or the other. Now he is fixing a blind date for him. So Lee starts telling Ling about the quality of the girl he likes. She should have such short hair that it should not go below her ears. She should not wear clothes like girls. She should be physically strong and not afraid of anyone. She should be a sports person who does boxing or fighting. Hearing all these things, Ling starts saying it seems to be impossible to find this type of girl. Then Lee says that you have to tell my dad that if he finds this type of girl, then I am ready to marry her. After some time, Shin comes to the hospital to meet Lee, but she couldn't find him there. Then she sees someone's leg. Then she goes and sees that Lee was lying unconscious. So she quickly calls the doctor, and after bringing him to consciousness, the doctor says, "You have to take care of yourself. You have to rest." After the doctor leaves, she comes in front of him, seeing which Lee was shocked. Then she tells him, "I saved you. That's why both of us are equal. First, I'm sorry for hurting you, and now I just saved you. So everything is over for us too." Then he says to her, "Did you help me just to avoid taking responsibility?" She says, "I never do this, and if it is my mistake, then I will take responsibility. But in the process of catching the thief, I was also thrown out of my job." Then Lee says, "I do not want any compensation from you, but in return, you have to do something for me." Then he shows her the viral video and tells her that if the media ever asks her any questions related to this, then she will have to tell them that you are my instructor, and at that time I was only practicing martial arts. But she cannot lie, so she refuses to do it. Lee says, "Okay, then compensate me for my condition." Then Shin says, "If this is what you want, then you will have to learn some martial art techniques from me. Only then I will agree to this deal because I never lie." But Lee says, "How can I practice martial arts in this condition?" She says, "I have trained harder than you in conditions like yours." Then she starts teaching him different techniques, after learning which, he picks up Shin and throws her down. Just then, the assistant sees them both like this, so she starts leaving, saying sorry, but Lee stops her. Then the assistant tells him, "A new driver has been appointed for you, and his salary is 360,000 yuan. Hearing this, Shin gets surprised and says to Lee, "Do you really pay 360,000 yuan to your driver?" He says, "Yes, but why are you asking this? Do you want me to hire you as my driver?" Then she said, "I know how to drive all kinds of cars, from sports cars to army tanks." She was telling him about her driving skills. Then he stopped her and said, "There is no need for this. A driver has already been appointed for me." Then she says, "If you want an assistant or a secretary, I am ready to do anything. I know how to do all kinds of jobs." Lee says, "Do you even know how much a secretary or an assistant has to do? I don't think you are right for this job." Then she said, "I will become your martial arts instructor." And she praised his skills a little. But he clearly refused and said, "I just want you to explain this martial arts game in front of the media properly. Only if needed. Otherwise, don't do anything else and please leave me alone." Then he shows her the way to the door. Then Lee looks at his shirt, which he was wearing a while ago, and asks Shin, "Who changed my clothes?" She says that the nurse did, but she also helped him. Then he asks, "Did you see everything?" "I mean my muscles." In reply, she says that there should be something too that she should see. Then she leaves from there. Next, she is going for an interview at the company. Before reaching there, she is told that her resume has been rejected. Then she notices that a guy wearing a bare dress is following her. Then she understands and throws him down, and he is her childhood friend who has just come back from abroad after completing his studies, whose name is Feng. Shin is elder than Feng, But even then, Feng likes Shin, but Shin considers him as her younger brother. Here, Shin tells him about her leaving job. Then he quickly starts looking for a job for her and gets a vacancy in the post of assistant to the chairman in a company. The salary would be 4 lakh yuan. There are some requirements for the job, like one should have good driving skills, should know English and basic language. And she was a master of all these, so she applies for this post. On the other side, Lee's father comes to meet him. The two of them do not get along at all. Actually, Lee's father had issued a vacancy for the post of assistant for him, but he refuses outright. He asks his father to go back to Europe. Then, after some time, someone calls Lee and tells him that something has happened to his father, and he had not yet come to his senses. Then Lee reaches the office, where the assistant tells him that he was inspecting the research lab this morning, and there was an explosion in the device due to which he is in this condition. There is nothing to worry about. He is out of danger now. Then he tells Lee that before the accident, the chairman had asked him to find an assistant for him, but Lee clearly refuses because he feels that his father wants to keep an eye on him through the assistant, and he does not like it at all that someone is in between his work. But the assistant says that he does not have any such intention. Rather, he is just worried about him. That's why he is doing this. Then Lee says, "It is okay. Then you can do whatever you want to do," and he leaves from there. After some time, the assistant wakes him up and tells him that finally he agreed. It means that Lee's father is absolutely safe, and he is just pretending to be unconscious. And the research lab incident was also planned by him. He did it because he was going to take on the snakes in the company so that he can save his company from them. After this, he hires her as a special assistant for Lee, who is none other than Shin, who matches his quality. On the other side, Shin's dad asks Shin to stay away from Feng because, according to him, people who look handsome are not trustworthy. After this, he again starts talking about her marriage and tells her that, what kind of boy should you find for yourself who is protective, responsible, and most importantly, you should trust him. Shin also says okay and passes it. It seems that he is very serious about her marriage. That's why he sets out to find a groom in his friend's circle. After that, Shin gets a job offer mail from Drunken Group. Seeing this, she becomes very happy. And the next day, she reaches the office with her bicycle, and all the employees are just looking at her because she was looking very cool. She goes and asks the employees about the chairman's office. Then she tells him that the chairman is not in the office right now, so he can go to the office gym and dry his hair because it was raining outside. After this, she goes to drop him off at the office, after which she gets her hair dried. On the other side, we see that Lee comes out of the pool, and after a while, Shin also comes there. Seeing her, he asks her what she should do here. Shin says, "I work here." He says, "You had said that I have been fired from my job because of me." Then she says, "I am so capable that I got another job in a very short time, with a much higher salary than that." He says, "Your employer must be blind who has employed a violent girl like you. I am worried about his hands and legs who hired you." She says, "He is not at all like you. He is a self-made businessman. He has built such a big company on his own. Now he has asked me for the post of his special assistant." Then Lee says, "He is going to regret a lot by appointing you." She says, "I don't want to waste more time talking to you, so I am leaving." Lee stops her, saying, "Before leaving, listen to my advice. You should stop your violence here. Otherwise, you will be thrown out." Then she says, "I don't care about you. Whether you are here or not, I just want to work best for my boss." Saying this, she starts leaving, but he stops her, saying, "I don't like your attitude at all." She says, "I am in a hurry. Do you want to come in my way?" Then he says, "Yes, I will come in your way. Tell me, what will you do?" Then she throws him into the pool and says, "Don't come in my way. I don't get angry so easily, but when there is a man like you in front of me, I can't control myself." Then he starts shouting at her, "See how violent you are. Your boss will be the most unlucky person in the world who will regret." But after a while, when she goes to meet the chairman, she gets shocked seeing Lee. She checked the official website of this company, and the name of the chairman was something else. Then he told her that he is my dad, whom I succeeded a few days ago, and now I am the chairman of this company. And according to that, I am your boss too. For now, I am very happy that today I have got a chance to take revenge from you. Then he says to Shin, "So you want to work in this company?" Then he takes the appointment letter from there and tries to tear it, but it does not tear. He tries many times with a lot of force, but he is not able to tear the letter. Now he feels embarrassed and says, "Leave it. There is no need for this. I fire you from the job now." Then she says, "I have signed the contract before coming here. It means I have already become an employee here, so you cannot remove me without any valid reason." Now he gets very angry, and he calls the department and asks his dad's assistant, "How did you hire an assistant without my approval?" The assistant says, "I did not do it. Your father hired that girl for you, and you had told me to do whatever I wanted to do." Then he says, "I don't know what I said, but fire her right now." The assistant says, "The chairman had told me that you will definitely say such things. That's why he has asked me to tell you that if you fire her from the job on any pretext, then you will also lose your position as chairman. That's why think carefully. and decide whether you have to work with her or lose your position. Now, on hearing this, he gets very angry, but controlling his anger, he tells her, "So you have to become my personal special assistant." Here, she did not want to, but right now she needs money. That's why she says yes. Then Lee puts conditions and tells her, "My assistant should know all the work of the office and should have expertise in martial arts." Then, showing her certificate, she tells him that she has already completed her major and has been the champion of the National Chinese Kickboxing Tournament for 3 years. Then he tells her, "My assistant has to work very fast, and she should also be smart." Then she shows many military models who were impressed by her work, and she was rewarded. Then he says, "My assistant should be loyal and ethical." Then she says that she was made to serve as a soldier for 3 years, and before joining the army, she was loyal to the country, which proves her loyalty. She tells him that she was a squad leader in the army, and she led many soldiers. This is how the conversation between the two continues. Finally, Lee has no excuse left, so he tells her, "Because you have troubled me a lot and hurt me, that's why I cannot let you work here." She tells him, "Can we not talk about this?" But he, with full attitude, says, "There is no chance of you working here." Then she shows him his viral video and says, "What if you think about it?" Then he starts talking to her properly. "There is no need for this. We sit and talk." Then she says, "There is nothing to talk about. I am going to do my work." Then he also leaves, saying, "Wait a little. I will come now." After that, Lee calls his friend Ling, who was in the research department. Lee asks him to come to meet him. After that, Lee tells him about the whole scandal with Shin. After meeting him, Lee starts saying to Ling, "Something is wrong. I think my dad has sent her to keep an eye on me. She deliberately tried to get my attention, and she requested me a lot to keep her on the job and approached me again. She does not look like such a simple girl. It means that my dad has definitely sent her here." Ling, after seeing Shin's resume, tells him that she has received awards for bravery in all her previous jobs. Then he says, "Whatever it is, but this girl is very talented, and you should use her talent. You should not let it slip out of our hands. That is why, first of all, you have to bring her on your side so that she works for you and not for your father, and this work will be very easy for a person like you." Then he praises him a little so that he can bring her under his control. After that, Lee creates a new contract, and according to this, she will be the special assistant of Lee. He tells her that her previous contract has been terminated. Then, as she goes to read it, he talks about her salary, which is 400,000 yen per month, and she will also get medical benefits. Then she asks if she will get electronic devices like a prosthetic arm. Lee says, "Yes, if you work well." Hearing this, she gets happy and signs the contract without reading it. After this, the secretary gives a notebook of Lee's daily hobbies to Shin, which she has to memorize completely. Then she takes her to her cabin, which is the storeroom of the company. After seeing it, she thinks, why did he send her to work in the storeroom? Then Shin asks, "Is this whole room for me? And so much stuff is lying here? What should I do with it?" Then she says, "You can arrange all these things according to your convenience." Then she asks, "Do you want to work here?" Shin says, "I don't have any problem." On the other side, we see Lee, who did this intentionally. Actually, Ling gave him the idea that, first of all, he should behave strictly on her so that she gets disturbed with this job. Then, finally, he will help her, and she will definitely get impressed by this. Then Lee asks the secretary, how was her reaction after seeing the room? She says, she got more motivated after seeing the condition of the room and started her work. Hearing this, Lee becomes shocked, and then he goes to check it once. When he comes, he sees that Shin had arranged everything, and there was not even a little bit of dirt in the room. Just then, Shin also had come here while eating, and asks Lee, "What are you doing here?" Lee says, "I had come here to see whether my assistant is comfortable here or not." Then he starts leaving, but he is not able to open the door. Seeing this, Shin says, "Let me try." But he says, "There is no need for this. Did you think that I cannot open a door?" She says, No, you are the boss. You can do anything." So he tries a lot. Even after putting his feet, the door does not open. She was enjoying seeing all this. Now the poor guy gets very embarrassed and then asks Shin, "You go and try." But even then, the door does not open because the door was jammed. Hearing the voice, some employees reach outside. Then the secretary asks Shin to take care of Lee. She has called the keymaker. Shin thinks, he is not a small child that I have to take care of him. And then she notices that he is behaving in a certain way. Then she asks, "Mr. Lee, are you okay? Are you having any problem?" Then she goes to check like that. But Lee pushes him back and asks her to keep quiet. Here, the secretary talks about calling an ambulance. Now Shin checks the diary and comes to know that when Lee gets trapped in a closed place, then do not come near him. Now Lee has a problem with something, and we will come to know about it later. Then Shin goes to break the door, and Lee also helps her. And in this, they break the door and come out. Next, we see Lee's rival, whose name is Gao. When he comes to know that Shin has become the special assistant of Lee, he asks his assistant to keep an eye on her and to find out the weakness of Lee. On the other side, Shin takes a report and goes and sits in front of Lee. Then, when she sees that he is her boss, so she stands up and shows her report and tells him that she has observed that the employees working here lack moral values as well as motivation. So she can coach all of them so that they get motivated. Lee says, "This is a good idea." Then Shin asks how much money will be given for coaching. Now, after hearing this, Lee refuses, and when he is leaving, Lee notices the injury in her hand, and he goes to call the secretary to bring the ointment. But Shin tries to convince him by telling him that there is no need for it. It is just a small scratch, and leaves from there. Next, she goes to meet her friend Feng. Here, he tells her that he is going to do an internship in a company nearby. So from now on, they will be able to go to the office together and also go home together. She gets very excited after hearing this, and she starts telling him about her office work. After that, on returning to the office, the secretary shows Shin her personal work table, from where she also gives her the title of personal special assistant. Then she also gives her an ointment box, which Mr. Lee had ordered for her. Then, seeing Shin, he asks her very lovingly, "Do you like your new workplace?" Then he himself makes her sit here and asks her to take rest. Then Shin asks, "After all, what is so special about today that you are caring for me so much?" Then Lee says, "You are a special assistant of me. That's why you are special and different from everyone." Then he goes to his cabin. Then we come to know that Ling has given another idea to Lee, that he will behave with her very lovingly and slowly approach her. Then she can do anything just to get his attention, and then she will automatically come to his side. But nothing like this happens. On the contrary, she gets suspicious. Then Shin messages to Feng and asks him, "My boss has become strange. First, he was troubling me, and today he is doing it for my sake. He asked me to sit on the bench and rest. Now, after hearing this, Feng said, 'Call the police. How can someone touch you? I think he wants to do something with you, or his intentions are bad.' Then she also gets a little scared. When Lee goes out of the office, the secretary Sue says to Shin, 'You should follow him as you are his personal assistant,' and she does the same. Then Lee comes to his company's lab to enter. Here he has to enter the password outside. So he enters the password and goes inside. But Shin checks around to see if someone is nearby. There are a lot of cameras installed, but none of them was at the right place. Then she starts entering the password. Just then, Ling sees her from behind and puts his hand on her shoulder and asks, "What are you doing here?" Now, as usual, she twists his arm and bends him down and wants to ask him who he is. Now Ling's condition was getting worse due to the pain, but he quickly escapes by showing his ID card. Then she says sorry and gives her introduction. Then Ling says, "You are exactly like an ideal girl of Lee." Then he shows her the imaginary drawing, which he had made when Lee had told him about the qualities of an ideal girl. And by combining the qualities, he had made a picture of a gorilla. Seeing this, Shin gets angry and punches him hard. After that, Ling takes her to Lee, but Lee tells her to leave from here because he does not need her here. But Ling says that she has been in the special forces, so she will be better at investigation than us, and she can help us in investigation. Then Lee tells her about the accident with his father, and now both of them together start finding out the cause of the explosion. Then Lee tells her that a biological model has been stolen from this lab, but Shin does not understand and asks, "What is a biological model?" Then he shows the mouse, which was an experiment model. Here, Ling jokingly asks Shin, "Are you scared of rats?" Then Shin picks up that rat in her hand and says, "I am not scared of a rat. I used to eat such rats in the army, so I will not be scared of this." She says, "We used to eat such rats in the army, so I will not be scared of this." Then she starts taking the rat towards them. Then Ling says, "This rat's cost is $50,000, so please don't play with him." But she starts playing with him. Then Lee tells her, "If you don't keep him safe, then your salary will be deducted if anything happens to this rat." Hearing this, she keeps it in the box carefully and then finds out the reason for the explosion. Then they get the footage of that day, and looking at the footage, she catches that person, and by looking at his backside, she tells his height, weight, and tells Lee that that man was definitely sent by your dad or your dad's rival to see the testing going on biological models in your lab. Then Ling says he had come here to steal the model, and he must be a man from this field. Ling says a business dinner party is going to be held where all the big businessmen of this field will come. So he asks Lee to take Shin with him to the party so that she can help him in catching that man. But Lee outright refuses. On the other side, we see Secretary Sue, who had come to buy her favorite strawberry cake. But then Feng comes there, who first pays for that cake and makes it his. But Secretary Sue stops him and says, "I had seen it earlier, so I will take it." But he says, "What is the use of seeing? I have already paid for it." And he leaves and takes it to the office to have lunch with Shin. But he is not allowed to go inside the office. Here, the secretary comes and asks, "What are you looking for? And by the way, why do you want to meet Shin?" Here, he wants to say something before that Secretary Sue says, "Tell me the truth. I will deliver this to her. Then he says, were you lying to eat this cake? Sue says, what nonsense are you talking about? Just then, Shin calls him and says, I have eaten lunch, so I cannot go to have food with him. And she says, you leave it at the reception, I will take it later. But then Secretary Sue tells her, I will take it to you. That's why Feng has to give it to her, and then she brings it to Shin. Here, Shin tells her that he is her brother, and also tells her that he is very good at cooking. Now she gives this cake to her because she has been eating luck and the sound of a rat running was coming from her stomach. Then the secretary leaves from there. After that, some female employees start gossiping about Lee's girlfriend, and also ask Shin about it, but Shin doesn't have any answer to the question. Then we see that Lee was listening to their conversation, so he asks them to do their work properly, and then he calls Secretary Sue to his cabin and asks her to give extra work to these two employees. Then she asks him about taking Shin to the party, but he refuses to do this too, and tells her, don't you think that my boss must have sent her to keep an eye on me? That's why I can't take her. Here it is, revealed that the real spy is none other than Secretary Sue, and here Lee's dad is listening to all the conversations that Lee had told in the cabin, that he is feeling something strange, that he has not had any contact with his dad for 2 days, and his assistant is picking up his calls. So Lee decides to go to the hospital and meet his dad. Then it is revealed that Secretary Sue is the daughter of the business partner of Lee's dad, and she was not interested in the job of secretary, but because Lee was handsome, that's why she went to do the job. After this, the chairman made her his spy because of her. All the news about Lee reaches him. Here, Lee's dad says, something had happened to Lee 2 months ago, because of which he is about to lose him. But luckily, nothing like that happened. And this is the reason why he wants to keep an eye on him, so that he can be safe. Here, Secretary Sue tells him that Lee is thinking Shin is his spy, due to which she can get into trouble. But Lee's dad tells her not to worry about it because she is perfect for Lee, because she is his ideal girl. Hearing this, Secretary Sue is surprised. Here, in the office, Shin notices that Lee is not in his cabin. She asks about him. Then the guy tells her that he had heard that he is going to the hospital today to meet his father, but she did not know about it. So she calls him 2 or 3 times, but he does not pick up her call. So again, she feels something is wrong. So she goes to check his cabin, where she sees the coat on the hanger, and remembers that a while ago, a tracksuit was hanging there, so she feels something is wrong. On the other side, Lee had reached the hospital to meet his father. After looking left and right to confirm that there is no one nearby, he goes to open the door, but the door does not open. So he tries to open it by pushing it hard, but in this process, he gets injured. Here, Shin laughs and says to him, Mr. Lee, it seems that you like breaking doors a lot. Then, seeing her, Lee says, stop laughing, and says, first, tell me what are you doing here? She says, I was worried about you. That's why I came here to see you. Lee says, what will happen to me? Then she says, leave all this. First, you tell me the truth. Is my father's health really bad or not? And is he also inside this room or not? She says, how will I know if your father is ill? Only you will know. On which he says, yes, I knew that you are not going to come. So first, you open the door and go inside. She says, it is locked. Then Lee says, that's why you should think of some idea to open the door. It will be easy for a girl like you who has been in special forces. She says, okay. Then she takes off his drawstring from his dress, and with its help, she unlocks the door. And when they go inside, they don't find anyone there, due to which Lee gets confirmed that he is pretending to be ill. Just then, some guards come there, so they have to run away from there. But Lee runs a little and gets very tired. He was not even breathing. Then they hide behind the wall, and she covers his mouth with her hand. After the guards leave, she removes her hand, but he was still not able to breathe. Then Lee says, if you want to take away my position by killing me, then Shin says, there is no such thing. After this, she makes him breathe in and out to bring back his normal breathing. She tells him, you are very weak. You do not know the right way to breathe while running. By the way, you are out of breath. I doubt how you became the boss of this company with such a weak body. Then Lee tells her to leave from there, but his legs do not move because his legs become numb. After a while, both of them go towards the parking area, and here she advises him to do a workout, saying that he is very weak. If you do not exercise, then your health will deteriorate very soon. Then, to make her quiet, he shows her the number 23 of his contract. According to this, you cannot interfere in my personal life, nor can you comment on this. If you violate this, then you will have to pay compensation. Then, through his dad's bank details, Lee has come to know that his dad has gone to Europe. Then Shin starts asking him, but he was ill, right? Now she has come very close to him. So he tells her to always stay 50 centimeters away from him. Then, Lee goes to drop Shin home while maintaining distance from each other because Lee did not want to let her go home alone. Here she still talks about going to the party and says that she wants to catch that man. on which Lee agrees to take her on one condition. In return, she has to complete a task. She has to make a soft copy record of the work of all the staff for the whole month. Lee had given her only 5 days, and she also starts working on it with more motivation. Now Shin was the only one who was going to work overtime, so Secretary Sue stays to help her and brings water and snacks for her. Then she apologizes that because of her, Secretary Sue will also have to work overtime. Then Sue says, everything happens between friends. Then, in this way, both of them become friends. And Sue is the first girl who has become a friend of Shin because since childhood, she has been among boys since military school. She also felt good to be friends with a girl for the first time. After the office time is over, Feng comes to call Shin to go home with him. As soon as they leave, she gets a call from Ling, who tells her that the boss has invited her for dinner. So Shin asks Feng to go home alone and tells him that she has to go for dinner with the boss. Then he says that he will also go with her, but she does not reply to him. Just then, Lee also comes from above. Then Shin introduces Feng to Lee, and Lee says, yes, I know that he is your neighbor. Hearing this, he starts staring at Shin, and then Lee takes Shin with him. Seeing all this, Feng gets very angry at Lee and thinks, Lee, I will not leave you. After that, Lee goes home and sits down to drink. After drinking one glass, he starts thinking, I still haven't understood. Then he keeps drinking, and he starts having thoughts of Shin, but he still couldn't understand why this is happening. Then he keeps drinking, and his head starts spinning. He says, how will I understand now? So he calls Shin. And Shin asks, what is the matter, boss? Lee says, I am finding it very boring. Then he cuts the call, but she wouldn't have understood anything. So she calls back and asks, what did you want to say? Then Lee says, I know that you are a very good girl who is very responsible and capable. Then Shin says, thank you for the compliment. But Lee then says, as a woman, she is very violent, rough, and not feminine at all. She is different from those other girls. Saying this, he disconnects the call. She gets very angry and says, he called me so late at night to talk ill about me. I agree that I am not like other girls, but what was the need to call to remind me about this? But without thinking much about this, she starts doing her work. Then she gets Lee's call again. Then she directly answers it and says, you can scold me and criticize me if I made some mistake in my work, but you cannot talk about anything else. To this, Lee says, I was not talking ill about you. Actually, sometimes I feel that you look very cute. Hearing this, Shin asks, boss, have you drunk? Then he says, yes, but a little, and my stomach has started aching a little right now, so I am ordering you to bring a hangover suit for me right now. Now, what does she do? She reaches Lee's house with a hangover suit and asks him to open the door. Then he opens the door, and he starts talking in English. Hey, I am coming, bro. I was waiting for you. Then he calls her inside, but while going inside, he himself closes the door on Shin's face. Then the sound is heard again, and he opens the door again. Now he starts talking in French, and he just hugs and kisses her and greets her and calls her inside again. But while going, he closes the door again. Then Shin says, I don't understand anything you're talking about. Then he again opens the door and starts motivating her in German. If life cheats you, then don't be sad. Don't cry. This day will also pass because Corona has also come to China. Doing all this, he again goes inside and closes the door. Then she calls out again, and this time he starts talking in Korean and says, why have you come to deliver a hangover suit so late? Then he goes inside, but this time she enters the house before the door gets closed. After that, she lays him on the bed and gives him soup to eat, but he puts his hand on Shin's waist, thinking it to be a pillow. Then she starts calling him by name, but he starts pulling her towards himself. Then she slowly removes his hand and gets angry while hitting him on the head and says, what happened to you? By the way, you act as a tough boy? Then what happened now? Today you scolded me, and now you have asked me to bring soup too. I should take overtime money from you for this. Saying this, she hits him on the head, and then she starts drinking the soup. Just then, Lee gets up and she gets scared. Then he asks her to drink with him and starts drinking one peg after another with her. Then he tells her that his life is not what it seems. His condition is very bad because of his dad. There is no holiday for him. All the time he is busy with work. So he celebrates this bad life of his by drinking. Then he drinks again and becomes drunk. Seeing this, she thinks that how can she waste her time coming here so late at night? So she asks him, do you want me to drink with you? Okay, let's drink. But first promise me to take me to a cocktail party. But he again refuses, even in a drunken state, and says, there is a lot of danger there, so I cannot take you there. Shin says that if she does not go there, then it will be dangerous for him, and in this way, she will not be able to find that man. Then he again starts going to drink, but she does not let him drink, and says, first, he promises her to take her to a cocktail party. Otherwise, she won't let him drink. So he promises to take her to a cocktail party. In the next scene, we see that both Lee and Shin reach the party. There, they separately start looking for that man. Here, Lee finds a man whose ears are similar to the CCTV footage. So Lee goes to the man and starts staring at the man's ears. Then Lee introduces himself to him. Then he comes to know that he is Mr. Huang from Fang Pharmaceuticals Company. Lee directly asks him if he came to Runchi Research Institute 3 weeks ago. Mr. Huang says, "How can I come there? There is Class A level security there." Then he tells everything to Mr. Huang, from the explosion to the theft of their biological model. Then Shin enters there and tells about the research institute as if she works there, after which she introduces herself to Mr. Huang by showing the card of Ling. Now Lee was a total jerk here, but how could he expose her in front of everyone? So he takes her aside to discuss the project. He asks her, "What are you doing here with Ling's ID card? And where is he?" Here we come to know that by playing rock, paper, scissors with Ling, she had won his invitation card from him. But here she tells Lee that Ling did not like to go to public places. That's why he sent her in his place. But Lee still asks her to leave from here. Then she says, "Think about it. You will not be able to find that man without me." Then Lee says, "I have also made my plans." Shin says, "Are you thinking that you will check the ears of all the people here? And in this way, you will find him. You will also know that when you're looking at Mr. Huang's ears, then people were looking at you. How embarrassing it will be." Then she gives him a microphone earphone in his hand and tells him to put it in his ear. Then we search for him together. Then Lee says, "Okay, but then you will have to follow my instructions." But Shin says, "If you want to catch that man, then you should just follow my commands." Then she goes away, and the poor Lee will get very embarrassed. Now what could he have done? Then both of them start inspecting all the people. Meanwhile, Shin notices a man whose ear prints are exactly like the man in the CCTV. So she tells Lee about that man, that he is Mr. Han, the executive assistant of GL Pharmaceutical Company. Then Lee goes to that man and starts telling him about the explosion and their biological model. Now, hearing all these things, that man gets nervous, and both of them are confirmed that the person who attacked him and the biological model is none other than him. Then Mr. Han leaves from there on the pretext of a call. Then both of them follow him and reach outside a room where she hears some sound from inside the room. So both of them stand outside the room and start hearing the talking of some people. Here Mr. Han tells them that it seems that maybe Lee has doubted him. That's why he has come here to catch him. But another man replies to him and says, "Don't worry, his biggest traitor is in his company and he must have come to the party by now." After this, those people start coming out and Lee and Shin were also ready to attack them. But Lee said that he doesn't know how many people would be there, so he takes her to the medicine refrigerator room in front of them. Then, after a while, when they are about to come out, someone from outside closes the door, and he is none other than Lee's rival, Gao, who sets the room temperature at 18 degrees. Due to this, they start feeling very cold inside. There was no network inside the room, so they had no other option but to wait. Then Shin says, "We will have to save our energy as much as possible and wait for someone to come, because there is no way to open this door from inside." Just then, her head starts spinning and she is about to fall, but Lee catches her. Lee says, "Maybe you are feeling very cold." Then both of them realize that maybe he had mixed something in the wine, which she drank before coming here. Then Lee breaks the ventilator, which starts ringing the alarm. In this way, someone will come to rescue them. Here, Lee takes off his coat and makes her wear it. She says, "But you will also feel cold." But Lee says, "I am your boss. That's why listen to me." She says, "But in this mission, I am your commander, so listen to me." Lee says, "Okay, I will listen to you." Then he sits down with her so that both of their bodies can remain warm. The cold was increasing, and she apologizes to Lee that at this time she is not protecting him. Lee says, "I don't need your protection right now. Just take care of yourself for a while." But now Lee was also feeling very cold, and he was about to faint from the cold. But she keeps talking to him and asks him, "Today she met a very handsome boy. He was much more handsome than you. He also had 8-pack abs." She said, "No one can be more handsome than him. In fact, he was much stronger than you." From all these things, Lee understands that she is just trying to convince him to keep him conscious. Then Lee thanks her and tells her, "You are talking exactly like that girl. I don't know which girl she is, but you are exactly like that girl. At that time, I thought that I will not survive, but suddenly that girl came and she saved me. After that, I hired people to find out about that girl, but I have not found out anything about it yet." Then Lee falls unconscious, but just then, 2 guards open the door and come inside and rescue both of them. After some time, now Shin's condition was better, but Lee's condition is a little bad. Then she wakes him up and then both of them ask each other about their well-being. She again starts apologizing to him and tells him that she did not know anything more about that people because the CCTV cameras of the place were damaged. Then Lee says that it's okay. We already know that the people from Jail Pharmaceutical are behind all this. We will catch the rest of them too by keeping an eye on them. Lee was given saline, so when he tries to get up, it starts to reverse flow. So she holds his hand tightly and stops him and says, "You do not like physical contact, but right now, I cannot leave your hand." In the next scene, we are shown Shin's house. Here, Dad is making soup for Lee. Then her dad asks, "You're not caring for your boss too much." But Shin says, "It is my duty, and he is my boss. That is why I am making soup for him. Anyway, because of him, I was able to come out of the freezer room that day." And she says this while smiling. Now, after listening to all this, Dad starts looking at her in a strange way. Then she quickly goes to get ready. On the other side, Lee was waiting for her to come, and he was repeatedly asking Ling about Shin. Ling says, "Be patient, friend. She must be there only." Then he asks, "By the way, do you still doubt that she is your father's spy?" On this, Lee says, "No, she is not a spy." Ling says, "Then do you have romantic feelings for her in your heart?" On this, Lee says, "After some time, no." Then he asks, "Really?" Lee says, "Yes, sure." Then Ling says, "Look, Shin comes." And due to this, he gets panicked. Then Shin gives soup made by his father, but Ling takes it from her and says, "This will be your compensation for me because you made fun of me after. I lost in rock, paper, scissors, so I forgot about it." But Lee snatches it from his hand and says, "This is only mine. You will never get it." Just then, Secretary Sue sees the project QW, one of antiseptic medicines, on Lee's laptop. Seeing this, she is shocked. Then Ling goes from there, and after him, Sue also leaves. Then Shin starts serving soup to Lee. Here, Secretary Sue calls Lee's father and tells him about the freezer room incident. Then Dad asks her to tell Shin to protect Lee well. Then she also tells him that it seems that both of them have become very close, and now she cares for him, and also tells him about the QW1 project that Lee was preparing for the debating. Hearing this, he gets shocked and also gets upset. When Ling reaches to talk to her, she leaves from there on some pretext. After that, Ling gets a call from Lee's dad. After that, he directly reaches Lee and tells him that your father has come to know about our plan. Due to this, he is going to call an emergency board meeting. Lee gets very angry and asks him, "Who would have leaked this information?" Then he thinks something and tells him to send Shin to meet him. He must have leaked the information that apart from Lee and Ling, only one person knew about this plan. After that, Shin reaches there to meet Lee. Then Lee tells her, "You act very well. I almost believed you." Then Shin says, "What is the matter, boss?" Lee says, "I broke all my principles for you and never blamed you. I kept ignoring your actions. And even then, I was worried about you. But what did you do to me?" But she still could not understand what he was talking about. Now Lee says, "I give you one last chance. Tell me the truth that my father has sent you as a spy to keep an eye on me, and you had sent all the information to him." But Shin says, "We had already cleared this matter. Then why are you doubting me again?" Then he tells her about the information leak of his betting plan and says, "My father is calling a meeting of the board members to go against the betting plan. So now, tell me how much money my father gave you to leak this information." Shin asks, "You think that I did this?" Lee says, "Apart from me and Ling, only you were told about this. Then who else could it be?" Then this hurts Shin very much, so she tells him, "I do not know who would have done it, but I did not do it." Lee says, "You always say this, and every time I convince myself that you are speaking the truth, but this time all the evidence is pointing towards you." Then he turns his face away from her and says, "I don't want to see your face." Hearing this, she leaves from there crying. After that, Lee is totally ignoring Shin in the office. After that, Shin goes to talk to Lee. Then Lee says, "I had told you that I do not want to see you. Then why have you come to talk to me?" She says, "I have come just to tell you that I will find out the whole truth and prove my innocence to you." She had also made preparations for this. She shows her report and says, "Whatever may have happened, you cannot blame only your dad and me for that." Lee says, "Why can't I do that? Do you know me or the QW1 project? How did that project come here? And why did I come back to this company? Do you know about my dad?" Then he starts telling her what all his dad did to him. "They fraudulently bought my experiment results and through them blackmailed me and forced me to join this company. Then they asked you to spy on me. He intentionally creates some scene so that I can trust you." Then he says, "Tell me how much money he had given you. I will give you double." But Shin says that she will bring the truth in front of him. Then she starts leaving, but Lee stops her and calls Kai and asks him to give her some work so that she cannot disturb him again. On the other side, at the office, Sue gets a call from Lee's dad. He asks her to fix the tapping device of Lee's office because he is not able to hear anything. She did not want to do anything that Shin has to face anything because of her, but she had also said yes to him. So she quickly goes to Lee's cabin and starts fixing the device. Then Lee and Shin start coming towards the cabin, due to which she hides. Here, Shin was going to tell him again who she has doubts on, but she starts vomiting again. And this time, she is not able to stop it. He starts worrying a lot about her. Here, Sue was listening to all their conversations secretly. Lee's dad is still on the call. Suddenly, Shin starts vomiting, and she is not feeling well. Then Lee says that it is all my fault, so I will take responsibility for you. So let me take you to the hospital. Now, after listening to all this, Lee's dad starts understanding that he is going to become a grandfather soon. He is very happy, but Shin says, there is no need to go to the hospital. I think this is not that serious, so you don't need to worry about me. But Lee says, you have become like this because of me, so I should take responsibility. Because you are my... Then he stops while saying this. This starts raising expectations of Lee's dad about what he is going to call her. Then Lee says, you are my special assistant, right? She says, this is not a big deal. Here Lee's dad also says, how is it not so? If you are pregnant with my grandson, then I and our family will keep you on our heads. Lee says, right now, you are vomiting, so you must be feeling hungry, so I will bring spicy food for you. Hearing this, Lee's dad says, while getting angry, are you stupid? Don't you have common sense in this? Who feeds spicy food to a pregnant girl? Then he gets very angry at Lee. Then Lee was going to bring food when he gets a call in which he is called for an important meeting. Then Lee tells Shin, I had to attend a meeting. Hearing this, Lee's dad gets even more angry and shouts his name very loudly. Sue gets scared and drops the phone from her hand and is caught. So now she has to tell the whole truth to Lee. After that, he asks for an explanation from his dad. He says, I just thought about your safety. That's why I asked Sue to keep an eye on you so that I can know before any trouble comes to you. But Lee angrily closes the laptop and fires Sue. Because of her, he had to face a lot of tension. After that, Sue says sorry to Shin. Shin says, there is no need to apologize because you had said that we are friends, so I am not angry with you at all. On the other side, we see Lee's rival company's CEO, whose name was Mr. Mai. Now they had some plan ready, which they are going to execute. Next, we see that Shin has come to have lunch with Sue. After lunch, Sue was going to drop her home when a guy from Lee's company came and said, I have been sent to bring you to the restaurant. So she goes with that man. But Sue looks at the number of the car carefully and starts thinking something because she had never seen a car with this number plate before. On the other side, Lee was going towards the restaurant very happily. Here, his driver, who was recently appointed, was looking a bit suspicious. He told Lee that they will reach the restaurant in 10 minutes, and the driver who has gone to bring Shin will reach within 15 minutes. So Lee then starts imagining his romantic date with Shin. After this, he drinks from the bottle near him, and the driver was looking at him with strange eyes. From this, we come to know that there was definitely something wrong with the water. Here, we see Shin. His driver was taking her from the other side by saying a shortcut, which makes her doubtful. After looking at the driver carefully, she remembers that she has never seen him in the employee list of the company. Then the driver asks Shin if she wants to drink water. She can drink it. It is kept on your side. Now there was no signal in her phone at all. The driver tells her that there is a lot of traffic here. That's why there is no signal. Then she asks the driver, I have never seen you before. When did you join? Then the driver becomes silent. On the other side, Sue calls to find out whether the car with that number plate is in Lee's house or Lee's office, from which she comes to know that the car with this number plate is not in Lee's company. Then Sue asks her driver to follow Shin's car. Here, Shin had full doubt on the driver, so to confirm, she picks up the water bottle and starts smelling it, and she saw from the mirror of the car that the driver was staring at her with sharp eyes. Then she asks him to stop the car because she has to use the restroom, but the driver says, wait a little, we are about to reach. Now Shin had confirmed that there is something wrong, so she ties his neck with his seatbelt and starts asking him who sent him and where is Lee. But that guy does not say anything. Then she makes him drink the same water from the bottle and makes him unconscious because there was a drug of unconsciousness in the water. After this, she exchanges the seat with the driver and ties his hands and tracks the starting location of the car. She understands that if they have also picked up Lee, then he must be at the starting location. So she follows the location. On the other side, Lee had already become unconscious after drinking the water. Here, Shin finds a jammer in the car, which was blocking her phone signal. Now this confirms that all this is definitely someone's plan, and she leaves following the map. On the other side, it is revealed that Mr. Mai's men had kidnapped Lee, but their third partner, who was bringing Shin, was not in contact with him. A man tells his boss that Shin fights well. Then the boss says, "You also know how much dangerous our third partner is, and if that girl tries to be too smart now, then our third partner will end her game." Now Lee becomes conscious, and he hears everything. He says they should not do anything with Shin. In return, whatever they want to do, they should do with him. Here, Lee's dad's video call was going on, and it is revealed that Mr. Y had kidnapped Lee to get the QW1 project in his name, so that Lee's dad gets scared and he signs the project transfer agreement. The goons threaten him with death. In this way, Mr. Y signs the papers. The goons ask him to fax the transfer agreement to Mr. Y. Just then, an unknown message comes that the police are going to reach soon. Seeing the message, Lee's dad pretends to ask to fax the transfer agreement. Here, while following the map, Shin reaches the starting point from where the buildings are visible around, but she was not able to understand where to go. Then she wakes that man up and asks him about going inside. The driver tells her the secret code to go inside, which was to blink the headlights of the car 3 times and blow the horn twice. Seeing this, the people above understand that he is their third partner. After this, they let her come inside. Now he does not know anything more than this, so she makes him unconscious by giving him water again. Then she gets a call from Sue, but she asks her not to worry and asks her to wait for a while. The police are also going to come here in a while. Then another man comes there, and Shin makes him unconscious. She enters the building and starts beating the goons badly, but during this, she gets a wound on her leg. Then, she finally brings Lee outside, and the police also come on time and catch those goons. Well, after coming outside, Lee gets very scared after seeing the injury on Shin's leg. She says, "It's nothing, it's just a small injury. I will be fine." Then Lee hugs her and says, "Thank you for saving me by putting your life in danger." He says sorry to her that every time she gets hurt while saving him, and he can never save her, but he promises her that he will not let anything happen to her again, and he will protect her. Saying this, he becomes unconscious. In the next scene, we see Lee in the hospital. Here, the doctor tells him that he will not be discharged until he is completely fine. Then Lee asks about Shin, and Sue tells him that she is also fine. After that, Shin goes to meet Shin. Here, the assistant comes on Lee's dad's insistence and starts talking to Lee again about the QW1 project that he has canceled his betting plans. And even after his dad's insistence, he does not listen to him. Then he asks Ling to take him to Shin. On the other side, we see Shin, where her dad and Feng had come to meet her. Here, Dad gets angry at her and asks her, "Why are you risking your life? I was very worried about you." Then Shin says, "I am a soldier. What danger can I face from such small goons? And Lee is my boss who cares for me a lot, so how could I leave him alone in danger?" Here, Feng says, "I also know how much he is caring. He just keeps touching you." Hearing this, she makes him quiet by hitting him with a pillow. Then she tells Dad, "Now I am fine, so you should go home." Then she asks Feng to drop him home. After that, she asks Sue to take her to Lee. Here, Lee is coming to meet Shin, and then both of them are face to face. Both are very happy to see each other. After this, both of them start talking to each other. They talk very friendly, and then Shin says, "Now we both become friends." Then Lee holds her hand and says, "Our relationship can go beyond this." By saying this, Lee starts looking romantically at her. Then Shin says, "Then we both become brothers." On hearing this, Lee's mood gets off, and he quickly leaves from there. Here, Feng sees that pink bracelet in Sue's hand, due to which he thinks, "I had given it to Shin. Then how did it come to Sue?" Next, Lee got discharged from the hospital, and now he will have to rest at home. Here at home, Lee feels boring, so he calls Ling and asks him about the work. But Ling says, "You will have to rest, so don't do any work." Then he starts messaging Shin, and they share many things about each other. Then Shin tells him that till he is resting at home, she will cook food from her home and send it to him. Seeing this, Lee becomes very happy. After that, Shin makes a lot of food with her dad for Lee, and then she delivers it to Lee's house. When the food reaches there, Lee's happiness knows no bounds. Then Ling asks him to tell the truth. "Do you like Shin or not?" Hearing this, Lee starts getting nervous. Then Ling says, "I knew that you have fallen in love with her, but are afraid to express your feelings. But before that, it is important to know whether she likes you or not. But even before knowing this, you have to impress her. Then you have to do something for her that makes her very happy." So Lee follows this idea and comes to meet Sue and offers her a job again. Hearing this, she gets very happy and promises Lee that she will not do any spy job in the future. But Lee says, You have to do this work for me. Then the scene cuts there. The next day, the office scene is shown where Lee announces Shin's promotion and increases her salary. Hearing this, Shin becomes happy, and all the other old employees look upset. Here, Lee also becomes very happy because by this, she will definitely get impressed by him. Here we see that Kai reaches the research center and starts copying some data from a system. Then Feng sees him and he leaves from there, showing his seniority. After that, Feng informs Ling about this, and Ling asks him to check the system and find out if the data has been transferred or not. Here, Lee was looking very happy. He tells Sue, now Shin will definitely get impressed. I have promoted her and increased her salary too, so she cannot reject me. To which she says, nothing like this is going to happen because whatever you did, it will seem that you got impressed by her work and gave her a promotion. How will she be impressed by you? Lee will not like this either. Then she tells about Shin's dad's prosthetic arm, that if you gifted her that prosthetic arm for her dad, then she will definitely get impressed. Then Lee asks her to find out everything about the prosthetic arm. Then she invites him to a dinner party with her. She says that Shin is also coming there. Hearing this, he becomes happy and agrees. In the next scene, we see that their party had started, where a girl was talking bad about Lee and was also saying that Feng is more handsome than Lee. Lee also reaches behind. Seeing him, Shin goes to stop the girl, but Lee silences her and starts listening to her. The rest of the people who had seen Lee start praising him. The girl tells them, you people are turning around as if Lee is standing behind me. Then she turns back and is shocked to see Lee in front of her. But he doesn't say anything and goes and sits at his place. Then all of them start drinking, but Lee becomes nervous because he knows that he can't hold on for long. Here, Sue notices him, and then she asks everyone to play the game of truth and dare. Then the game starts, and the first turn comes on Shin. So Sue asks Lee to ask questions from Shin. Then Lee wants to ask her if she likes anyone, but he gets nervous and becomes silent. When everyone starts staring at him, then turning around, he says, so how did you like your new job? And how is it going? Everyone's mood gets off with this question. Then, instead of Lee, Sue asks the question, do you have any boyfriend or not? She says no. Then Lee's hopes start getting high. Then Sue asks her, do you like anyone? She directly says that she doesn't like anyone. Then Lee's hopes fall down again. Everyone else also wants to ask her, what kind of boys do you like? Like smart, talented, handsome, rich? Then again, Lee's hopes start getting high, but Shin says that all of these are not her type. Hearing this, Lee gets confused and asks her, what kind of boys do you like? Then, whatever qualities she says, Lee did not have any of them, due to which he gets very angry. After that, the next round starts, and Lee's turn comes. Then they start going to ask him questions, but he says that he wants to do a dare. Then Kai asks him to have a drink. Then Kai gets up, but Lee makes him sit and says, I want a drink with Shin. Then Shin gets up and says, what to drink in the glass? And she gives him the bottle, and both of them start drinking. Then she was still fully conscious, but our hero faints in a while. So now, who will drop him home? Of course, Shin. Then she goes to drop him home. But Lee's childish behavior is such that she calls him the child. Lee says, I am not a child, but you are because you are not understanding me. Saying this, he faints. Then she throws him on the sofa and again asks him to get up to drink water. Then she wakes him up by pulling him and starts making him drink water, calling him a child. Then she asks him to go to his room to sleep, but he falls right there. She tries to wake him up with force, but he does not move. Then she tries to wake him up again by applying full force, but in this process, a lip kiss happens here. She gets completely shocked, and he falls asleep on her shoulder. Then she throws him away. The next morning, she comes to his house to pick him up, and thinking about the last night's kiss, she is getting very nervous. Here, Lee did not remember anything about the last night, so she calms her mind and comes inside. Then Lee starts asking her about last night. Then she tells him that you had drunk too much last night. That's why I came to drop you home. Then he asks, what did I do after getting drunk? Did something happen? Because I am feeling a little pain in my body? Did you hit me? But Shin says, no. There was nothing like that. Then Lee goes to get ready, and here she was only thinking about that kiss scene. Just then, Lee comes and leaves for the office. After reaching the office, Ling tells him about that incident of Kai. Lee asks him to keep an eye on him and also asks him to check if he does anything wrong. Just then, Secretary Sue comes here with all the details of the prosthetic arm, seeing which Lee becomes very happy. On the other side, at Shin's house, Xiao and her mom come to thank Shin. Seeing Xiao, she is very happy. Then Xiao starts insisting to take training from Shin again, and her mother also requests for this. Mom also says that she will pay for this, on which Shin quickly agrees. Next, we see that Sue had brought Feng to a club, where both of them drink and dance. On the other side, we see Lee. He is driving his car while thinking about Shin. Then he gets a video call from Shin, where she introduces Xiao to Lee, and while flexing, she tells him that she is my best student, and she has just won the school championship. She tells him that from tomorrow onwards, she will also come to train with them. Then Lee asks Shin to go for a walk after training. Then she says that she cannot leave Xiao alone at home, so she will bring Xiao along with her. So this is finalized. The next day, Lee was getting ready for his practice match with a lot of excitement. Then he reaches the gym and sits comfortably. After some time, Shin reaches with Xiao. Here, he first kicks the gym ball and moves it away. Then she tells him that today he has to practice with Xiao. Hearing this, he tells her that it comes only till my waist. How can I raise my hand on such a small girl? Shin says, she is small, but don't underestimate her. She is my best student. Then Xiao says, Uncle, you don't need to be afraid of me. Then the first match starts between Lee and Xiao. Here, he hesitates and starts saying, I don't feel right in raising my hand on a small girl. She can get hurt somewhere. Shin says, first, you think about yourself. He says, I am just worried about her. Then Xiao tells him, Uncle, are you not afraid that I will beat you badly? Lee says, why would I be afraid of you? I was just worried about you. Xiao says, there is no need for that. Come into the field. When their match starts, then, just like her teacher, she beats up Lee very badly, sometimes by bending his hands and sometimes by bending his legs. Then he gets up with a lot of hard work and gets ready for the second round. Only then, while stopping him, Shin says that now they have to do exercise. But Lee had already been tired, so he requests Xiao to ask her teacher to stop all this. But Xiao tells Shin that Uncle does not want to do exercise. But then Lee himself starts exercising. But in this process, he gets so tired that he sits on his knees. Then, somehow, he manages to get up. On the other side, Feng has reached Shin's house to have lunch with her. And today, he was going to confess his feelings to her. But this chance is also missed as there is no one at home. Then he messages Shin and tells her about his coming home. Then she asks both of them about going home because Feng has come to her house. But Xiao says, right now, we are going for a walk, and I also wanted to eat ice cream. But she asks her, is he very handsome? She says, yes, he is very handsome. So Xiao says, okay, then let's go home now. On hearing this, Lee takes Xiao in his arms and offers her to eat good food, play many games, and have a lot of fun, so that she agrees, and our hero gets a chance to spend more time with Shin. Then she tells Feng through a message that she has come out to hang out with Lee and Xiao. Hearing this, he gets upset. Then he calls Sue and invites Sue to have lunch with him. Here, these three are enjoying to the fullest. He feeds Xiao her favorite ice cream and her favorite food. They continue their fun like this. Meanwhile, Feng tells Sue the story of his one-sided love and tells her that he was going to confess his feelings today, but couldn't get a chance to confess. Then he shows her the picture of a place where he wanted to take Shin today. Then a flashback shows that he had decided to confess his feelings on his 18th birthday at the same place, but she had not even come there on the day of the meeting. Coming back to the present, he had also brought a ring to propose to her. Then Sue asks him, what if you get rejected? He says, it will definitely hurt a little, and it will be difficult to forget it, but I will try to control myself. Hearing his words, Sue also feels a little sad for him. Meanwhile, these three were trying to get out a toy, but they both are not able to get even a single toy out. Then Lee tries to get it out, but even after trying for a long time, he is not able to get it out. Here, Shin starts making fun of him. On the other side, as soon as she comes out of the cafe, she hugs Feng to make him a little comfortable and is about to leave in her car. Just then, Feng sends a message and invites her to go with him to the same place where the photo was taken, which makes her very happy. Here, Lee was still stuck in the vending machine because Shin had made fun of him. And even then, he was not able to get even a single toy out. Seeing this, Xiao and Shin buy another toy and bring it to him. After this, all three of them start roaming around with their toy. Here, both of them reach that place where there is a big penthouse. No one has come to this place since that day, so this place was in bad condition. So, a lot of dust had accumulated there. Then both of them together start keeping the place clean. Then Feng starts playing the piano, and to have fun with him, Sue closes the piano, but Feng's finger was still on the piano, so she starts having fun. Then Feng starts running behind her to catch her. After that, when she was completing the painting of the wall, then her foot slips and she is about to fall. But he holds her and picks her up and starts spinning her round. As soon as their eyes meet, then both of them quickly go their separate ways. On the other side, we see these three, where Zhao had fallen asleep in Lee's lap. Then, both of them start talking. Then, fireworks start in the sky, and the atmosphere becomes a little romantic. Here, Lee is just keeping looking at Shin, and when both the opportunity and the atmosphere are romantic, so he thinks of confessing his feelings to Shin. Then she also notices him looking at her and asks him, do you want to say something? Lee again gets nervous, and instead of saying, I like you, he says, you like me. Then Shin asks, what you say? But he says, I want to go to the washroom. But then Xiao wakes up because she was pretending to be asleep. Xiao says, Lee, uncle said that you like him. Hearing this, she also gets nervous and asks Lee, why are you not going to the washroom? And then he quickly left from there. After he leaves, Xiao tells Shin, I think Uncle Lee likes you. His heartbeat was going very fast for a long time, and I had been noticing since a long time that Uncle is just looking at you like my mom and dad used to look at each other. Hearing this, Shin also feels shy and starts thinking whether he really likes her. After that, the three of them start walking towards Shin's house. Lee's car driver was following her. Shin tells him to go in the car, but Lee says, "Then I will not be able to spend much time with you." Hearing all this talk of both of them, Xiao says to them, "If both of you like each other, then why don't you get married? Like my mom and dad." Hearing this, both quickly go to shut her mouth, but once again, their eyes meet, and this again creates a little awkwardness. Then they start smiling at each other and walk like this till they reach home. After that, they keep saying, "You go first" for some time. Hearing this, Xiao wakes up from sleep and says, "Teacher, if you don't want to let Uncle go alone, then call him also to stay with us. Then I will sleep with you like my mom and dad." Hearing this, Shin starts to silence her, but Xiao directly asks Lee, "Uncle, you like my teacher, right?" Then she again starts to silence her, and the scene becomes awkward there, so she was going inside to ask Lee to leave. Then Lee shouts from behind, "Shin, I like you." But before she could hear the line, "I like you," the door of Shin's house was closed. It was soft, but she could hear it, so she stopped but started thinking whether Lee really said, "I like you." Here, Lee was also thinking whether she heard it or not. Then Ling calls him and asks him to come to the lab quickly, so he leaves for the lab. After he leaves, she comes out and thinks that she must have heard something wrong. Here, the prosthetic arm was ready for Shin's dad, seeing which Lee was very happy, and he starts praising Sue. Here, Ling says, "I made it, so praised me a little too." Then Lee says, "I have the most important work for you. After that, I will praise you together." Now Ling's work was that he has to reach this prosthetic arm to Shin's dad. For this, Lee also gives a lot of ideas. Next, we see that Ling sets up his stall near the house of Shin, where he has many other gadgets with that prosthetic arm. Then Ling starts announcing, "All this stuff is for experimental trials, so anyone can take it, and after a few days, its feedback will have to be given to us. So people pick up the things of their choice, and only the prosthetic arm is left behind." Then Shin's dad was passing by, and Ling calls him and starts telling him the features of the prosthetic arm and explains all the features very well. Here he is ready to give it for free also, but Shin's father does not take anything for free, so he makes the excuse of experiment trials and asks him to give its feedback after using it. On this, Shin's dad also agrees and goes, and he brings the prosthetic arm to home. Here, seeing the prosthetic arm, Shin asks her dad, "Where do you get it from?" He said, "A man who looked like a scientist gave me this for an experiment trial. So after using it, I have to give him feedback." After seeing the box, Shin gets suspicious that why would someone give such an expensive thing to someone for an experiment trial? There must be something wrong about it. Here Lee was very happy because he thinks that after this Shin will get totally impressed by him. Here she starts searching on the net about this prosthetic arm, from which she comes to know that it is from Lee's company. So the next day, she goes to return it to Lee. Then while returning it, Lee says, "This is from me, for your father," but she refuses to accept it. You can keep it as a medical benefit of the company, but still she refuses to take it because she wants to buy this prosthetic arm with her hard work. So both of them were arguing about the matter. Then Ling calls Lee to the lab in an emergency. After reaching the lab, Lee comes to know that Kai had copied all the data from their main system, and he also put a virus in their system, due to which their project QW1 gets in danger. And still, everyone starts trying to recover the file. Here Kai gives all those files to Gao, and he gets very happy and promises him for his safety. Here Lee was continuously working in the lab, and she takes coffee for him, but he was so lost in work that he does not even notice Shin, and Shin sits on the sofa next to him, and while watching him, she falls asleep. When Lee's coffee is finished, his attention goes towards Shin. Then he puts his coat on Shin. Then he also falls asleep while sitting in his place and watching her. And seeing how they both are sleeping, Ling takes their photo and keeps it. On the other side, we see Lee's dad. Here, he is missing Lee a lot because now he has understood how much wrong he did to him in childhood, due to which he got away from Lee, and now he has started hating him as well. After that, his assistant comes and asks him to tell about his health to Lee. He asks him to go to the hospital for his treatment, otherwise his health may deteriorate further. After which Gao comes to meet Lee's dad, and he starts gossiping about Lee and starts whispering against him. But the chairman ignores his words. This angers Gao a lot. After that, Gao calls Mr. May and asks him to post some news about Lee and his father. Then the next day, when Lee sees that news, he gets even more angry on his dad. On the other side, we see that Shin collides with Lee's dad, who has come to the office dressed as a worker. At first, she does not recognize him, but then she remembered, "You are Chairman Wei, right?" Actually, he has to talk to Shin, so he takes her to the terrace, where he asks her to do something for him. She refuses at first and says, "I don't want to become your spy. I cannot give you any news about Lee." Then Mr. Wei says to her, "I don't want to make you a spy. Rather, I want you to convince Lee to come back home because you are the one whom he obeys." Then he explains in detail about the distance between him and Lee, like he never cared about him since childhood. He forced him to do things of his dad's choice, but now he regrets this. So he now wants to live with his son Lee for the rest of his life. So he asks Shin to help him. After that, she also reaches Lee, where he was angry with his dad because of the morning article. So he was boxing to vent out his anger. Seeing this, Shin says, "You should go home once to calm your mind." Now, on hearing the name of the house, he says to Shin, "Has my father sent you here? If you have come to convince me for this, then I don't want to talk about this." Then he gets angry and starts leaving from there. But she stops him and says, "He regrets, and now he wants to live happily with you." Now, on hearing this, Lee gets even more angry. So he scolds Shin and leaves from there. After this, he goes to drink with Ling. Here, he says, "Shin also doesn't understand me, neither my feelings, nor does she like me. Now, she has also gone to my father's side. She only supports him. She doesn't understand my pain." On hearing all this, Ling starts saying, "It is possible that your father has really changed, and he regrets his actions. So you should not get angry even on Shin." Ling says, "You should think about it once." Now, thinking all this, Lee does not get sleep at night, so he sits down to drink again, and he also places that monkey in front of him given by Shin, and starts remembering his childhood memories. Here we see a flashback that his father never spent time with Lee. He just remains busy in his work, and he sent him to study in childhood itself, and his future was already decided. He will have to top his school, college, and university, and then he will have to join the company. But Lee had no interest in this. He has to do this by force of his father. And due to this, a lot of anger was filled in his mind for his father. So, after coming back from studying abroad, he not only greeted his father, but also stopped talking to him. Here, at present, thinking about this, he was having drink after drink. Then, in the next scene, we see the morning scene where Lee opens his eyes and sees Shin in front of him, and he was shocked to see her. On top of that, she was also wearing Lee's t-shirt. Seeing this, he gets nervous and asks her whether anything had happened last night and why are you wearing my t-shirt? And the most important thing, you were here last night. Then how did you reach here? Then, stopping his questions, she says that you had vomited on her clothes last night, so you yourself gave me your t-shirt to wear. Then we are shown the flashback of how she reached here. As he had done earlier also, after drinking, he calls Shin, but does not say anything. So she reaches his house to check, but after knocking the door many times, he does not come. Then she calls Ling and asks him, "Where is Lee?" He tells her that he will be at home. Then he tells her about the duplicate key of the house. After that, she opens the door and goes inside, and seeing him sleeping, she tries to wake him up. But suddenly he sits down and asks Shin to play truth and dare game with him. She does not want to play, but he forces her to do it. So first of all, he chooses truth himself and starts telling her the painful story of his life, how badly he spent his childhood. He did not get the love and attention of his father, which he always wanted. On the contrary, his father forced him to do the things of his choice. He has to study as per his choice. He has to get a college of his choice and a degree as per his choice. But even after doing all that, the thing that he did not get was his freedom. Then in the second round, he starts again saying, "I never supported me. He never went to drop me to school. I was alone at home. I used to go to school alone. I used to come back from school alone. In abroad, he never came to meet me, even once." Then she gets bored of listening to Lee's story on repeat mode. Then he ends his life story after about 2 to 3 hours and thanks Shin that since she has come into his life, she is only with him and supports him. Then he goes close to her and asks, "Do you know whom I like?" Here she got nervous, but Lee says, "I like Sun." And then he had vomited on the clothes of Shin last night. Then, at present, he refuses her to tell anyone about whatever he did last night. After Lee leaves, we are again shown a small flashback of last night, where when she went to drop him to the bedroom, Lee held her hand and said, "You are my son." Hearing this, she was blushing. Coming back to the present, we see that Gao joins hands with the rival company of Lee to remove Lee from the position of chairman. Here, at the office, Shin has nothing left to do, so she asks Lee to give her some work, and he also gives her a lot of work. Then the employees tell her that Lee completes all this work in a single day. Then she also starts the work with enthusiasm, but half of the work was not even finished, and she falls asleep. Then Lee comes and, seeing her sleeping, starts saying, "Just now, she was dying for the work, and when she was allowed to do the work, she fell asleep." Thinking this, he sits down to finish her work smilingly. After finishing it, after a long time, he leaves. After that, when she woke up, she sees that the work is complete, and she feels that Sue must have definitely completed her work. So she goes to Sue to thank her, but Lee is also with her, who, after hearing all this, angrily goes from there to Ling. Then Lee asks him to give some idea so that Shin can feel how much he cares for her. Then Ling gives him an idea and says she will be impressed by having a luxurious dinner. Then he goes to Shin and invites her for dinner, on which she also agrees to go for dinner. And then Feng also sees both of them leaving. Then, after a while, he sees Sue running behind them carrying a box. Then he feels something is wrong. That is why he follows her. Here, they were going to the restaurant, and Shin is driving the car. So, how could he let her drive today? That is why he told her, I will drive. You come and sit here. Then she asks, have your legs become fine that you want to drive? He says, my legs are fine. That is why I can drive. She says, okay. Then I will let you drive on one condition. You will have to do extra exercise with me. And on hearing the name of exercise, Lee becomes silent. Then they reach the restaurant, and where the waitress takes them to their table. Then Lee makes her sit first by pulling a chair for her. Seeing all this behavior of Lee, she starts thinking, what has happened to him? Then the waitress says, sir, your couple set is ready, and it will reach you right now. Then, hearing the name of the couple set, Shin asks him, why did you order a couple set? We have come for a normal dinner, right? Then he starts making excuses that this restaurant has only couple sets. Then the waitress says, no sir, you yourself had ordered the couple set. Now, hearing all this, his plan is about to fail, but he somehow manages the situation and asks the waitress to go and bring their order. After getting the couple set, both of them start eating. Then he remembered the words of Ling that he had told him to spill food on their clothes while eating so that their clothes would get spoiled. Then he brought a couple dress for Shin, and they would wear it and go for a walk. Then our hero starts throwing the food towards Shin, but she catches all the food and asks him, boss, why are you throwing food on me? Now, hearing this, he said, I was just seeing how active you are and whether you can protect me or not. After eating, both of them came out. Here, Lee was kept looking at her, and she noticed this thing and asked if he wanted to talk to her about something. Then he gathered courage and goes to tell her his heart feelings, but Ling stopped him, who was on a Bluetooth call, and called him to himself. Then Lee makes some excuse and goes to meet Ling. Here, Sue had reached the other side of the same place with a box to light fireworks. But Feng, who was following her, seeing her doing this, stopped her and asks, what is she doing here and what is inside the box? Sue is shocked after seeing him here, but then, after calming herself, she tells him that she is just following Lee's orders. Then Feng asks, what is going on here? And why did he ask you to do all this? And what is inside this box? Now she gets confused as to what to tell him. Here, Lee reaches Ling, and Ling gives him flowers, and gives an idea to propose Shin by giving her flowers. Lee likes this idea a lot. Just then, they see that she was chasing a thief. Now his proposal plan flops badly, and he becomes sad. On the other side, these are fighting for the box, but Sue kicks him and takes the box. But even after waiting for a long time, when Sue does not get a call to light the fireworks, then she hands over the box to Feng, and both of them start walking. Here, Feng was just keeping looking at Sue. Meanwhile, Lee is waiting for Shin to come. Just then, she also comes here with her owner's badge, which was given to her by the police to catch the thieves. She was very happy to show Lee. Then Lee was getting upset because of the injury on her hand. Shin said, all this is nothing. It will get better on its own. But Lee gets worried about her. That's why he goes to get medicine for her. Coming back, he starts applying medicine on her hands, where he tells her that today he had brought her out to tell her something, but even now he was not able to say anything. He starts to leave, but Shin had understood this long ago. So she stops him and says, so you like me, right? Before he could say anything, she asks again, you told me that I like you that night, and I heard it. I also came out to check, but by then, you had already left. He replies, yes. Then she says, that night, after drinking, you said that you like Sun and that Sun is me. He again replies, yes. She says, then what are you waiting for? Hearing this, Lee immediately kisses her, and from now on, both officially become a couple. Here, Sue and Feng light the fireworks, seeing which she is very happy, and she also holds Feng's hand. Here, Feng was just keeping watching her, and it seems that the love story of these two will start soon. After that, everyone is sitting in the office. After that, when Shin is about to leave for the house, he stops her and asks her to work overtime with him. Here, when Feng asks the reason for overtime work, he gives him an important task, which was to bring the footage of the dash cam from the car owner. Now, before Feng says something, Sue says that she and Feng are ready for this. After that, Sue and Feng go to the girl who was the car owner, and they start asking for the footage. Sue says that in return, if she wants money, then they are ready to give it. The girl first refuses to give the footage, but calls Sue with her and asks her footage to sit on a chair in front of her. As soon as she sits down, the chair breaks down and she falls down, which the girl records on her phone. Then she asks them to leave from there and refuses to come and disturb her again. Otherwise, she will upload this video on social media. So both of them leave from there, But here Feng finds some chats of the girl. So both of them reach her office with full attitude, and now he finds some chats of the girl. First, he makes her delete the video, and then he asks her to send the footage of the dash cam to the email given by him within 1 hour. Otherwise, he will leak the chats about her getting plastic surgery done. So the girl quickly sends him the footage of the dash cam to the email given by him. Then, after completing the work, both of them are leaving, but then her leg gets sprained. Then Feng lifts her in his arms and starts taking her away, and seeing this, Sue starts blushing and smiling. Then, in the office, they come to know from the footage that the man who came to meet the Russian was the same person who had trapped Lee and Shin in the cold storage room. So they start thinking what these people want to do. Next, we see that the office hour had ended, and Lee comes out of the office looking for Shin, who had already left, but he finds Feng there. So he asks about Shin. But on the contrary, Feng starts asking him, "Why do you keep looking for Shin? And anyway, the working hours are already over, so what is the use of all this?" Here, he was directly insulting him. But after getting fed up, he tells Lee that she has gone home. Hearing this, Lee gets upset because she did not even tell him before going home. So the next day, he was sharing his sorrow with Ling and Sue, and also getting angry on Shin. Then Ling says, "If you are so worried, then call her." Lee says, "Yes, you are right. I am her boyfriend. I can get angry with her for this." But as soon as she gets a call from Shin, he melts and starts talking to her lovingly. Seeing this, Ling and Sue say, "You have to get angry with her, but right now, he cannot hear all that." Here, we come to know that Shin had gone to a factory to find out something, from where she gets all the information with the help of Feng. Here, Lee calls her to meet tonight because today was the second day of their relationship, which he wanted to celebrate, and she also agrees. And then, Feng comes to take Shin with him. On the other side, Lee was getting very happy. But then, he gets a message from Shin that she cannot come today as she has to do something important. Seeing this message, Lee gets upset again. Then he gets angry and tells both of them that now he is very angry with her, and this time he will vent his anger on her. Just then, he gets a call from Shin, and again, the anger of Lee is gone, and he starts talking to her lovingly. Here, she says that she will come. And hearing this, Lee gets very happy and quirkily goes to meet her. Here, Shin did not want to upset Lee, so as soon as she comes, she hugs Lee. Then she tells him that his dad, Mr. Wei, had called her to meet him. He had asked her to go close to Lee and convince him to come back home, but she clearly refuses. Lee gets happy after hearing this and says to her, "My girlfriend cares a lot about my feelings." She also tells him that his father has said that he should not contract with Russians because they can be dangerous for him. She keeps telling all such things. Just then Lee kisses her. Next day, both Lee and Shin were enjoying themselves in the mall, where she was dominating Lee and was doing things as per her wish. It was looking very strange to Lee, but he could not do anything. After all, she is his girlfriend too. After spending the whole day, Lee was going to drop her home, but in the middle of the way, she asks if he can tell what is going on in his mind right now. Lee thinks, "I want to kiss you." Then he comes close to her and kisses her, and Feng sees all this, who is standing far away. Here, the poor guy's heart is completely broken. After that, Lee drops Shin home. She checks his phone and finds that there were a lot of missed calls from Feng. Her phone was on silent mode, so she didn't know. That's why she is going towards his house, but Lee stops her from going alone because he was afraid that someone might hurt her, as it was in the audio recording of his email. But Shin understands that he is jealous of Feng, so she tells him that he doesn't need to be jealous. He is just my younger brother. He gave me so many missed calls. That's why I am worried about him. Then Lee tells that he will also come with you because he is worried about you. Then a debate starts between the two on this thing, and then she goes from there to find Feng by pulling Lee away. On the other side, we see that Gao is very angry at Lee because he had handled the situation. Here, Shin comes back home because she did not find Feng anywhere. She returns a little upset and asks her dad whether Feng came here or not. Just then, she receives the message of Feng, in which he had written, "I am fine. You don't need to worry about me." Seeing this, she gets relief and she goes to sleep. Here, Dad found Shin upset, and she also asked about Feng, so Dad thought that maybe they both had a fight. Meanwhile, Lee and Ling were finding the IP address of the person who had sent the voice message to Lee. Next morning, Dad is sitting with Shin, so he starts telling her that fights happen between friends. So don't take it to heart. You should forgive the other person, due to which Shin's mood improves a bit. Now Dad asks her whether Feng is your boyfriend. Hearing this, she gets shocked and runs away, giving an excuse of work. Meanwhile, on locating the IP address, Lee comes to know that the person who sent the voice message is none other than Lee's rival Gao. But here Lee does not pay much attention to this, because he knew that Gao cannot do anything with him, but he is worried about Shin. Thinking about this, he gets upset. When Ling asked Li, he tells him that Shin is worried about Feng more than me. Ling asks, "Are you being jealous from a small child?" Li says, "What nonsense are you talking about? We had just had a little argument." But Ling tells him that he loves her, right? Then you must know what you should do now. After that, Li calls Shin to his house to meet him. For some time, both of them sit quietly. Li was unable to talk to her face to face, so he had made a recording of himself. Then he starts it, and after saying sorry in the recording, he quickly turns off the recording because there was something ahead that he did not want to tell her. Now she also forgives him, and she also says sorry to him. So everything becomes fine between both of them. Then both of them are going to kiss each other, but then the recorder turns on, in which Li says, "Please do not get angry at me, and do not be angry with me in the future, because I love you." Hearing this, Li gets a little embarrassed, but now everything has become all right between both of them. That's why both of them are happy. In the next scene, we are shown Feng. He is roaming around with his broken heart, and he remembers the time spent with Shin. He also starts drinking. After that, he calls Shin and directly asks her if she likes Li. She tells him the truth and says sorry for not telling him before. But he wishes good luck and says, "Stay always happy with him," and disconnects the call. Then he starts drinking like a heartbroken lover. While here, we are shown Sue, who was eating a lot today, so her mom and dad start talking that normally she doesn't eat so much. What is the matter? Maybe she is stressed. I think it is some love affair. It seems our daughter has fallen in love with someone. Sue also hears their talks. Then she tells them, "I am not in love. Today was my holiday, so I was enjoying my day." Then her mom asks, "On holidays, you go out with your friends." Sue tells them, "My friend has got a boyfriend. That's why she is spending time with him." Then they also ask Sue to find a boyfriend for herself. Then her dad also talks about sending her to a blind date with his friend's son, who has just returned from abroad. Before she could say anything, she gets a call from Shin, who tells her that she is not able to find Feng. "He had called me a while back and said some strange things to me. After that, I am not contacting him." Hearing all this, Sue quickly starts going towards Shin's house. She was also getting worried about Feng. On reaching Shin's house, Sue tells her about the one-sided love of so many years with Shin. Here, Shin understands that she likes Feng by listening to her words. Then Sue says that she knows where he would be right now, so Shin asks her to go talk to him. Shin says, "You understand Feng very well, so you should go to him." So next, she reaches there. As soon as she goes to the wooden house, Shin was completely drunk there. First, she starts explaining to him that he should not drink so much. His health can get bad, but he was not listening to her. Then she goes to stop him again and again, but he asks her to leave from there. Hearing this, she gets hurt, but still, she angrily confesses her feelings to him and tells him that she will never meet him again. Then she starts to leave, but Feng stops her and kisses her, and then picks her up and takes her to the bedroom. In the next scene, when he regains consciousness, he finds out that Sue had left her pink bracelet there. So he remembers the time he spent with her and also realizes that he likes her. Next, we see that everyone at the office goes for a camp, where Feng is just looking for Sue, but she ignores him. Here, Ling is in an attempt to impress her love. Next, they all sit together and play games. Here, Feng sings a song for Sue, and Sue leaves after from there. Then he goes behind her and tells her that he likes her and asks her what she thinks about him. Then she is telling him everything and says, "What happened that night? Forget everything." He tries to make her understand a lot, but she did not want to listen to him and started to leave. But he forcefully goes to kiss her, but she slaps him hard and says, "Your feelings for me are not genuine. You just want to use me," after moving on Shin. Saying this, she leaves from there. After she leaves, Feng says to himself, "I knew that you cannot forgive me, but even though it is late, but I have understood that I love you very much." Here, Ling and Fei Fei sit to play a game, where Ling defeats her with his super intelligence skills, and she gets impressed and kisses him, due to which Ling understands that he also likes him. On the other side, we see Li and Shin. Here, the decoration of the room was done like a honeymoon, but Li started saying, "I did not have any such plan. This must be done by Ling." Then both of them sit and start doing their work. Then they started getting romantic, but Shin stops him. Then he notices an injury on her back, and after talking a little about the injury, both of them start watching stars, and then they fall asleep. But Shin does not let him sleep the whole night. Sometimes he hits him with her hand, and sometimes with her leg. The poor guy's condition becomes bad, and he goes to sleep on the sofa. Next morning, Ling was going to announce his and Fei Fei's relationship when he gets a call from her, and she starts asking him not to misunderstand anything of that night. She just casually kissed him, due to which he becomes a laughing stock in front of everyone. In the next scene, Sue's dad asks Sue to go on a blind date with his friend's son, and Shin asks Feng about this. Feng finds out about the place by making a lot of requests to Shin. Then he reaches the same restaurant directly and sits at their table, making an excuse that there is no empty table. Here, that boy, whose name was David, was a very self-centered boy. He was always praising himself and says that he was interested in 20-year-old girls, whereas he himself looked above 30 years old. Hearing all this, Feng does not like it at all, and he picks up a glass of water and throws it on him. Then Sue gets up, and she also does the same thing and leaves. After that, Feng was thinking that this time, maybe something will work out for him, but she again rejects him and leaves from there. On the other side, Shin's dad asks her to tell him about her boyfriend. She first denies that she does not have any boyfriend, but then she asks him, "What son-in-law do you want?" He says, "He should not be from a rich family. He should not be a businessman. He should have a muscular body. He should be a boxer and healthy, so that he does not have to visit the hospital." But in all these qualities, Lee fails because he has visited the hospital many times. On top of that, he is rich and a businessman. Then she runs away, making an excuse. Then she gets a call from Lee, who tells her that he has arranged to tell his father about their relationship and now wants to meet her dad. But she refuses, saying that she is not ready for this yet. Then, before that, she has to convince her father. After that, Lee comes to know that the female soldier who saved him 5 years ago was Shin. He becomes very happy to know this, and he is very excited to tell this to Shin. He first tells Ling about this, that he will propose to her with a diamond ring, and at that time, he will tell this thing to her. After that, he always thinks about Shin and keeps on looking at her everywhere while smiling. Shin feels a little strange, so she asks him about this, but he says nothing. Then Shin asks him to come to her house tonight for rehearsal to meet his father, because his father is not at home tonight. But Lee starts thinking something else, so she quickly clears his confusion. After that, at night, she brings him to her house and starts doing rehearsal to talk to his father. Then she goes to bring some snacks for him. She had specially made these snacks with her own hands. Seeing this, Lee gets surprised because last time, his situation got worse after eating food made by her. But here, coincidentally, the food falls on his clothes, so Shin sends him to take a shower. Here, Ling calls Lee and starts asking him what is going on there, but Lee shuts him up and tries to control himself. Here, Shin also calls Sue and asks her, "What should I do now? Because my dad will not come back home?" Sue tells her, "Whatever has to be done, you have to do it. Whether you take your relationship to the next level or whatever your mind wants to do." Then Shin goes to give Lee a towel, but they collide. And here Lee becomes romantic, and he is about to kiss her when the doorbell rings, and both get scared that whether her father has come or not. She sends him to hide in her room and opens the door, but it is Mr. Yu. So she sends him away by making an excuse. Now their romance had started again when they hear the voice of Shin's father, and both get scared that whether he is in the house or not. The voice was of his voice message coming from the phone, after listening to which both calm down a bit, and then his message is received. Then both continue again when they hear her father's voice again. Now their romance is disturbed again, so both of them drop the plan of kiss. Then they start listening to the father's voice message. After that, she tells Lee about her father, and also about losing his hand while saving her. She says that because of this, she has still not been able to forgive herself, and she is most angry at the pharmaceutical company who had made fake medicines. Because of this, some local goons kidnapped them, and to save them, Shin and her dad were sent on a rescue mission. He gets shocked after hearing all this, because he was the one from those who was saved that day, and that pharmaceutical was also belongs to Lee's dad, and he did not know anything about those fake medicines, so he doubts whether his father was involved in all this. Now, after telling all this, Shin becomes sad, so Lee does not tell her anything about this either and consoles her. And after she falls asleep, Lee comes outside. He calls his dad's assistant and asks him to meet him, because Lee wanted to tell Shin about this only after finding out everything properly. Next morning, when Shin's dad comes, she tells him that she is in a relationship with a boy named Lee, but she does not tell him anything else about Lee. Now, Dad had no problem with this, so he asks her to call him home. Hearing this, she becomes very happy. Meanwhile, Lee comes to know that his company was caught in the affair of making fake medicine, but a local competitor was making fake medicine in the name of his company, so that the name of Runshi group of companies can be defamed. Then Lee decides that he will tell everything to Shin with all proofs. Just then, he gets a message from Shin that her dad wants to meet him. So the next day, Lee gets ready and reaches Shin's house. Here, he starts feeling bad that somewhere because of his company, Shin's dad lost his hand. Just then, Shin's dad sees both of them together, and he shouts and says, "Remove your hand from my daughter," and Lee gets scared. Then Shin calms him down by telling him that he is her boyfriend. So Shin's dad calls Lee inside to talk to him, where a dangerous meeting is to be held. Dad asks him question upon question, and it seems that a military training is going on here. But everything is set, and Dad also accepts their relationship, and both are very happy because of this. Here, Ling drinks with Fei Fei, and when he drinks too much, then she takes care of him. The next day, Lee tells Ling everything about what happened to Shin's dad and whether his company has any connection with those fake medicines or not. Here, both decide to find out the truth behind this. After that, Lee gifts a very beautiful hairpin to Shin and says that he will come to pick her up for a date at 6 p.m. Here, Lee had planned to propose to her, for which he is also going to give her a diamond ring. After this, we see that Feng and Sue also talk to each other well, and everything is sorted out between them. Here, it is revealed that Lee is trying to find out about fake medicine, and this news reaches Lee's rival Gao and Mr. May, and both were involved in it. To save himself from this, Mr. May tells that a guy named Michael will save both of them. Now, who is this guy? We will get to know later. On the other side, Lee had prepared a full proposal plan for Shin, but before that, Shin comes to know in the news that Drunken Group was involved in the fake medicine case. Hearing this, she gets heartbroken. Now, Lee did not tell anything about all this. That's why she gets angry with him and tells him that she does not want to see him. Here, Lee also decided that he will find out all the truth. That's why he was going to go out to investigate this matter. Then Sue tells Shin about this, so Shin goes to talk to him. Here, Lee also promises her that he will find out the truth and prove that Lee and his dad had not a hand in the fake medicines. Saying this, he leaves. Then we come to know that Fei Fei is the daughter of Mr. Wei's assistant, Mr. Kang. But their relationship is not very good because Mr. Kang left her mother and ran away because of doubts. Then Fei Fei told Ling about all this, and he consoles her. On the other side, Shin's dad tells her, "You should not punish someone for someone else's mistake. It is not good that he had not told you this thing, but maybe his tension was not wrong, so you should not give up on him." After that, Sue and Feng come to meet Shin, and here seeing them together, she misses Lee a lot and decides to take Lee's side anyway. Now Lee had also come to know about the incident behind the medicine that Gao is behind all this. Here, Shin also comes to know the truth, so she goes after Gao. Here, Gao was trying to flee the country, but before he could escape, Shin reaches there. So Gao tries to escape from there, but Lee also comes in front of him, and he had also brought the police with him, due to which Gao is caught, and now both of them also get patch-up. Now Lee had an injury on his back, so at night, Shin bandages it. Then it becomes romantic, and both spend the night at Lee's house. But next morning, Shin's dad reaches there and takes Lee straight inside by holding his collar. After that, he is made to sit for a meeting, where after some time, Lee's father also reaches, and he says sorry to Shin's dad because, along with losing his hand, a man from his company was also involved. So in this way, everything is fine between both the families, and Lee and Shin's marriage date also gets fixed. Just then, Lee's dad's health deteriorates, and he faints there. Then he is taken to the hospital, where they find out that his dad has lung cancer, which is in the 3rd stage. Lee feels very guilty and makes a promise with his dad that he will make this QW1 medicine so that everyone can get the medicine for this cancer. After that, Lee gifts Shin's dad a modified prosthetic arm. Here, we are shown Mr. May, who asks a man named Michael to stop the QW1 project from being made. Next, we see that Shin suddenly starts vomiting, and Sue asks her to do a pregnancy test. Then she takes her to a medical store to get a pregnancy kit. Then Shin asks Sue to talk to Feng because he was going to abroad for 2 years to complete his studies. Then she goes to meet Feng in a restaurant, where Sue accidentally drops the bill of the medical store from the bag. Seeing the pregnancy kit in it, Shin thinks that maybe she is pregnant. So he goes to his house and thinks about this. Then he gets a call from Shin, who asks him how a man will react if he comes to know that his girlfriend is pregnant. Then she starts asking him a lot of questions about this. Feng says he should take responsibility. After that, he goes to Sue and says that he is ready to take responsibility and he will not go abroad. They will be happy together. Then Sue asks, who is the third one? Then he shows her the same bill. The villain is shown in this bowl and says, my baby. Then Sue tells him that this bill is not mine, but Shin's. Here, we see Lee and Ling, where Ling is giving ideas of proposing for marriage. Here, Sue and Ling sit together, and this moment becomes a little emotional for both of them, because Feng is going abroad, so she promises him that she will wait for him. Here, Shin had just come out after doing her pregnancy test when Lee arrives there, who, on seeing the pregnancy kit in Shin's hand, proposes to marry Shin. But the next moment, Shin's father pushes him out of the house and asks him not to touch Shin before the marriage. In the next scene, we come to know that a person named Michael works for Mr. Wei is none other than Lee's dad's assistant, Mr. Kang. After that, Lee specially invites Mr. Kang to his wedding because he was like his father. After that, when Mr. Kang tries to contact Fei Fei once, but she does not want to talk to him at all. In the next scene, Lee had made the QW1 project, and now his dad's treatment can happen, and he is very emotional here and hugs his dad. In the next scene, Lee throws a party for the completion of the QW1 project. Here he announces that he and Shin have registered their marriage, and they are going to get married soon. Now, this party was also a farewell party for Feng. On this happy occasion, Ling and Fei Fei's case is also settled. Next, we see that Mr. Kang comes to meet Ling, where he requests him to give Fei Fei all his savings and all his shares in the Drunken company after Li's wedding. Along with that, he also gives him a letter to give to Fei Fei. Now, after police interrogation, everyone comes to know that a person named Michael is involved with Mr. May. So Shin and Li decide to find out everything about that person. Here, Mr. May kidnaps Mr. Kang because he did not stop the QW1 project from being made. The next day, we are shown Li and Shin's wedding ceremony, where Ling gives Fei Fei a letter from Mr. Kang. In this, first, Mr. Kang apologizes to her and her mother, and in the letter, he had given her the full details of all the scams he had done with Mr. May and Gao. He also tells that Mr. Wei's success is gradually increasing, and because of jealousy, he shook hands with Mr. May and Gao. Here, in the middle of the wedding, both Li and Shin come to know that Mr. Kang has been kidnapped, so both of them quickly finish the wedding work and leave to save Mr. Kang. After that, Li reaches with the formula of the QW1 project, and Shin was tracking him from a distance. Here, Li is taken to the main place where Mr. Kang was beaten up and kept there. Now, Li gives the fake formula of QW1 medicine. Angered by this, Mr. May plants a time bomb on Li and starts beating him up. Just then, Shin reaches there to save him and finds Mr. Kang. Here, Mr. May finds a gun, so he runs away from there. Here, at first, Shin brings Mr. Kang outside and then goes and tries to defuse the bomb, but she is unable to defuse it. But in the end, both of them run away before the bomb explodes. After which, all the incidents of Mr. May are shown in the news. Then, a scene of 5 years later is shown directly, from which we come to know that the relationship between Ling and Fei Fei had also improved. On the other side, Su and Feng had also got married, and they both had started a cosmetic company together. Here, Li also had children, and Shin is still busy solving crimes. After that, all of them meet in a restaurant for New Year celebrations, where Li was telling everyone the story of his survival from the bomb blast 5 years ago. In flashback, we see that after the bomb blast, Mr. May returned, where Shin had fainted. Mr. May tries to kill Li, but he had defeated him with a technique taught by Shin. In this way, he saved himself and brought Shin out. After which, Shin woke up directly in the hospital, where they came to know that Shin was going to have twin babies. Now, at present, they celebrate Happy New Year with great pomp and show. And with this happy moment, this drama has a happy ending.